The efforts at Interpol are again focused on a different set of issues with regard to prosecution. And so there are efforts underway, both bilateral and multilateral, for evidence collection, but not with regard to private maritime security. You're talking about in the context of governments bringing pirates in court and then trying to develop uniform standards for prosecution. There's been some work on that with bilateral agreements between countries in East Africa and, for example, the European Union or the United States. But it's a different set of issues than the regulation of private maritime security companies.
Let me make a general comment about all of these topics, and one of these is a huge complexity we've got. For example, in the United States, you have no federal common law crimes, which means that whatever Congress enacts, the courts can hear. If they haven't enacted anything, courts can't hear it. I think the second problem is what's been touched upon, the profit line. And the more regulation you put into a port, the price goes up for the private enterprise. And then you have, of course, the whole issue of, on a world scale basis, who owns the ships? And for instance, in the United States, we now have in Title 46 an absolute defense of self-defense for any vessel of the United States, which is very broadly defined in the code and therefore would authorize it in terms of civil liability, I think, and probably criminal liability if the master employs the gun toters. But you've also got the problem, frankly, at the international level of, suppose they engage in a shootout and they start going after these folks as they leave the ports of these coastal states. And then there's the problem, I think, in Nigeria of river piracy. And that conjures up a whole new round of issues besides the private problems of the oil industry and the like. So I think those are just, it's much more complicated even than we've been able to express it in these few moments. Any other questions, comments? Sir,
I've got one, sir.
General.
That was a terrific update. Commander Kraska, last time I was into this topic, can people hear me?
Can
you hear me now? Terrific update, even for the sea services. I got it. Seriously, it was just terrific, absolutely terrific. Is there a moral hazard with insurers not wanting armed commercial vessels? So, it would seem to be, it's intuitive that they wouldn't want heavily armed vessels. They'd like